So The Big Lebowski has recently turned a quarter of a century old, as if you didn't have reasons to feel old enough.
I've got to say, I got into Lebowski quite late. Well, like everyone, I didn't see it at the cinema when it came out. But being a stoner, you kind of come across these stoner movies. And to me, I think it's one of the ultimate stoner movies because it's just got that vibe of chilling all the way through it, even in the face of adversity and danger, you know.
Yeah, you asked me recently if it's the best stoner movie, and I think it probably is. I mean, there's some good contenders. I think Dazed and Confused is a good one.
Yeah, no, that's all right. But I think just the dude, I think obviously he's turned into a cultural icon. And Jeff was, I think, already beloved, but that just cemented him in everybody's hearts and souls, you know, especially stoners, because the dude is... He's the. It's like Nirvana. He's the pinnacle of smoking. You know, that's what you hope to attain and reach.
I actually wanted to start out with Jeff Bridges because he is one of my favourite actors. He definitely makes the top 10. Not only does he just have that like lovable, affable screen presence, but he really does know how to pick movies, and he still knows how to pick them. He's still making interesting work.
I love Jeff. I remember him in Tron. As you reminded everyone at the beginning of this podcast, I'm so old. So, yeah, I remember him in that.
What was that, 82, I think?
Around about then, yeah. And obviously the newer Tron with the Daft Punk soundtrack was amazing. And, of course, he was amazing in True Grit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, he was... I love the original from back in the day, but...
It's definitely the better Coen Brothers remake, because even though I could make arguments for it... The Lady Killers was not a good idea. I appreciate the Coen Brothers more than I love them, I guess. I mean, probably my favourite that isn't The Big Lebowski might even be their debut film, Blood Simple, which I think is one of their best. Because my favourites are the crime movies. So you've got Blood Simple, you've got No Country for Old Men, and deceptively, you've got The Big Lebowski. And they do tie all their like genre films together. Like usually they open with like a narration from like a secondary character. Like Blood Simple and No Country for Old Men both open that way. It's like shots of the location with like, you know, omniscient narration over it. And I put on Big Lebowski, and how does it open?
Oh, it's so good.
It opens with a narration by Sam Elliott.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, I know, it's so good. And that, you could say, Jimmy, really ties the films together.
I saw what you did there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Far out, man.
To me, when you say The Big Lebowski, I wouldn't think a Raymond Chandler-esque crime story with a stoner in it, and yet that's what it is. I mean,
totally,
yeah. I mean, if I had to ask someone what is The Big Lebowski, they probably would say it was a stoner comedy. They probably wouldn't say it was a crime film.
Yeah,
but that's exactly what it is.
You've even got the private dick in there as well.
Yes.
But yeah, obviously he's totally inept.
Yeah.
And the greatest detective in it is the dude, because he's the first one that said, "Fuck him, she kidnapped herself, man."
Yeah.
Like he knew straight away. Now, was it the smoke in the weed that gives him the universal knowledge to know that before there's any facts? Probably, because, you know, intuition, things like that.
Is there anything that immediately comes to mind about the film that you appreciate?
The soundtrack?
Yeah.
Oh my word, like Bob Dylan,
Creedence,
Kenny Rogers,
the Eagles.
You know, not the Eagles.
Yeah.
No, not the Eagles.
Yeah, that'll get you thrown out of a taxi for sure, man.
It will. I mean, just the use of it and the imagery within the songs. Oh my God. Like when he's flying with and then he notices he's holding the ball, and it's so good. And I think a lot of it, I'd never really heard those tunes before, like The Man in Me. It wasn't really a Dylan tune I'd heard, but it just fit the dude so well. And you have to wonder whether some of it is some of the songs that the dude would have loved back in the day when he was part of the What was it?
The Seattle 7.
Seattle 7, yeah.
Yeah. It's a real thing, apparently.
Yeah, it is a real thing, yeah. I mean, it was the Lebowski character was based on a real guy, wasn't it?
Well, here's the thing. A tie into their previous work related to Blood Simple. I think Jeff Dowd was the guy's name that they supposedly based it on. I think he had a hand in helping them distribute their first film. So the dude basically is them, like, saying thank you in a way by making this guy, and his styling is iconic, which is cool because Halloween, the guy who distributed Assault on Precinct 13 was named Michael Myers. So he got.
Was he really?
Yeah. So he got a tribute by naming a psychotic killer after him. So I think Jeff Dowd wins this one.
Dude, if I'd have known that you'd have mentioned that, I'd have bought my Michael Myers outfit.
Yeah.
Because that is the only, as my beautiful fiancée will attest, it's the only fancy dress that I will dress up as. And the first time that I actually wore it, I wore it outside and was staring in at everyone else in the party. Oh, God. With a knife, and it scared the out of them.
Yeah, they'd be wondering why William Shatner's come.
Are you saying my acting's bad? Oh, no, I get it. Sorry, I get it. The mask.
The mask.
I thought you were commenting on my acting, Dave. Would I overact?
Yes. Yeah. But Jeff Dowd is a real person. It's and to counter that, Walter Sobchak, played by John Goodman, is also based on a real person.
No.
Yeah, he's based on John Milius.
There can't be someone like Walter Sobchak. That's
John Milius, definitely like him. You know who that is, surely. He made Conan the Barbarian.
I know Conan the Barbarian.
He also made Red Dawn, I think.
I know Red Dawn.
He also had a hand in writing Dirty Harry, so he was very pro-gun. And
wow.
He'd often get his guns out in public and have
don't we all, dude?
Have political matches. So even looks like John Milius did, especially in the 80s.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Oh man, to think there's a real Walter.
I know. Yeah.
That's slightly terrifying.
A little bit, yeah. What do you think about like the relationship between the characters? Because it's one of those like duos where you're like, how can these people have ever been friends?
Oh no, I see that because I've had friends where some of them are quiet. I don't know whether I would have been the Walter or the dude. Probably a mix of both, really.
Yeah, I can see a mix of both. Yeah.
I'm not really Donnie, but no, I kind of get the dynamics because you can't have three Walters.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, because they would just shoot each other. You can't have three dudes because they'd all be too lazy to see each other. And you can't have three Donnies because they'd all probably stay inside and not want to go into the world. So when you've got a trinity of, I don't know, one chilled out dude, one kind of het up dude, and one really quiet dude, it could be the bowling skills and the power of the bowling.
Yes, it's the bowling that keeps them all together.
Yeah. Apart from on Shabbat Shabbath.
I was going to say about Donnie, because it's kind of like a cool thing for Steve Buscemi. This part that really has nothing to it. He's just going to be insulted for the entire running time. And yet, you feel a bit sad every time he dies.
He's the most beloved.
Yeah.
You can tell that Walter and Jeff love him to bits.
Yeah.
Because of what he is. He's not either of them. He's not a stoner that thinks about the universe. He's not an ex-Vietnam vet that has probably got a few dozen hand grenades hidden in
he's got an Uzi.
In his kitchen. Yeah, but I don't know. It's a great character because it's very underplayed, and it just within the whole dynamic of the film, he's a fantastic character to kind of bounce things off. I mean, the Eye on the Walrus bit, that's a work of genius. Where it's just Eye on the Walrus, but it's amazing. They are like an old married throuple.
Yeah.
And the love that they kind of have for each other, you can kind of see when Donnie dies that it's just how much it kind of affects them. And I mean, when Walter kind of brings his glasses down and he's looking at the cost of the funeral.
Yeah.
it's still too much for him. You know, he doesn't love him that much. Jeff Bridges, it was amazing. Just the comedy that he brings by kind of underplaying, and he knows exactly the character. I've got to say, I think 80% of that character is Jeff Bridges.
Oh yes, definitely.
Because 100% of his wardrobe was Jeff Bridges.
Oh right,
That was all his own clothes. He it was his cardigan, his shorts, his jelly sandals. So he bought all that. But I think once he saw what the dude was, he saw that he's a dope smoker, which I think Jeff was.
Oh, he still is.
Oh yeah, well, he's the dude as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he's just beloved. No, I'm not going to say mainly because of that, but I've got to say the dude has just endeared him in everyone's hearts and souls.
I do think it is the reason why he's loved to this day.
Yeah. But it's everyone wants. I mean, we were talking before this, before we pressed record, and we were having a little rant, mainly me, about different things, whereas the dude has attained this peace. I mean, there's only a couple of times that he gets really angry, like when Walter throws the ashes.
Oh, yeah. It is I know it's a hilarious moment with the ashes, but it's also tempered by that very sweet moment where it looks like the dude's going to break down.
Yeah.
Because of Donnie.
Yeah.
And they hug.
And they just hold each other, and that's where it is.
And that a very sort of faint Carter Burwell music comes in, like an emotional beat. The only truly emotional beat in the entire film, I think, is that moment. That's why it works, because it comes out of left field, doesn't it?
Yeah. But it's truly heart-wrenching when you see him on the floor kind of clutching his chest and going.
And that's a testament to the Coen's abilities, that they can take this joke of a character that's just there to be pissed on the entire time, and you actually
care. Like a rug.
You actually care.
Yeah. Because it's so unexpected for us as well as them, because if anyone should be having a heart attack, it's Walter.
Yes, definitely.
It's not Donnie, and maybe it's the dude from all his smoking. You expecting that?
Yeah.
But no, it's the quietest one, and it's the quietest one brings a balance to the force, if you will. And I think Donnie was that invisible glue that kind of held them together. And it is sad you don't know what's going to happen at the end. You don't know how they're going to, go on, which, I don't know, that's kind of an emotional point at the end of the film.
The whole cast is amazing. I mean, down to every bit part. I mean, to this day, I'm still missing Philip Seymour Hoffman. What an actor.
Oh, he's so good.
And after a whole career of performances, you look back on Brandt and you realise it is a true character part, because
the desperation to please.
He's unlike any other character he's played. This is not just Philip Seymour Hoffman showing up. He obviously loves Mr. Lebowski quite deeply.
You wonder how deeply.
Yeah, I think it's definitely...
there's undertones.
It's definitely a Smithers and Mr. Burns thing going on there.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, and there is kind of you wonder the backstory. How the hell did they meet? I bet you he pays him very badly. But, he probably lives in a small hut on the estate or something,
Yeah.
There's like a whole backstory there of this guy that he's like he's kind of like a servant, he's kind of like a butler to the real Lebowski.
Yeah.
Who is Father Christmas, and I didn't realise that he in Santa Claus he played Santa.
You mean Santa Claus the movie?
The movie. Watch it again, and you'll see that Santa is the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, okay.
I heard the voice, and I was like, I know that straight away.
Great.
Yeah.
They're all great. I mean, this has got one of my favourite Julianne Moore performances as well. It's just so it's just such an affected part.
But she's very privileged. You can kind of. This is the clever thing about the film. You can kind of tell all of the backstories from how the characters act and and who they are. And she is fantastic in this.
Yeah. For China.
Yeah. He's very thorough.
Yeah.
But it is. I think part of the fun of it is seeing how the dude kind of fits in to life, because that he doesn't fit in everywhere.
No, he pays for 69 cents with a check.
Yeah. You know, and he's kind of just the way he does it, and
He listens to the sound of bowling pins falling over on a Walkman.
it's a game he was. It's obviously a match that he was playing, and every single shot, if you watch his hands, he's knowing what he's doing in every second of it. And for a guy who's not plugged into anything, he remembers every movement of it.
And what's the weird thing about a character that really loves bowling about this film? What do you never see the dude doing?
Oh, true. You never see him bowl. But is it the only time that Donnie rolls a strike is when he dies?
Might be.
It's that as well. I think that's another little nugget.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. So it's a very clever film. But I've always taken it as The Big Lebowski. I haven't taken it as one of the Coen brothers' films. So I've never really looked at it from that way. So I think it'd be interesting to.
I think if you know their wider catalogue, it only enriches the film more. Because you know, like Tarantino, they do it. Well, they do it in a much more like low down sense, where that it doesn't draw attention to itself. But all their films talk to their other films.
They are masters of underplaying it.
Yeah.
And I think, especially in the past 20 years, where everything's bigger, louder. I'm thinking of JJ here. It's that sort of. It's got to be that. Whereas they're like, they've
never sold out.
It's subtle. Just the subtle little things all the way through are what make the film. I love how it's not really about much.
Yeah,
it's not.
Well, that's it. It's like the crime plot feels half baked.
Oh, I saw what you did there. Oh, very good.
Yes,
it is, and it's not really about much. He tells you what's happening within the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
She's kidnapped herself. He's right. He's precise. But it's the insanity that's all around this stone dude that he can kind of see through. He sees the bullshit. He sees Bunny Lebowski, and he's like, I know exactly what she is. And I've got to say, she's played really well, even though she's not in it for very long.
No. Tara Reid.
Yeah, she does.
Pre-American Pie.
Pre-insanity. There isn't one bad performance in the film by anyone. No one eats. Even John Goodman isn't eating the screen up. He's not taking it too far. Everyone fits within the scene perfectly, and there's no apart from Jesus, I've got to say, who he's amazing. But yeah, it's all amazing performances from amazing actors. Before a lot of them were amazing, before they were huge.
Well, there is a sour note that we have to mention with the Jesus, unfortunately. Do you know what I'm going to say? There's a spin-off.
No.
John Turturro made a Jesus spin-off, which I've never seen because it got absolutely critically assailed. But yeah, it's like we can't have a Big Lebowski sequel, but John Turturro can make a movie about the Jesus that obviously bombed hard.
I think all you needed to see outside of the bowling alley with Jesus is when he walks up to that door, knocks on the door, and that guy just opens and looks at him in the. Just how he's slightly taken aback. That's so good. The
bowling aspect is cool because, as I say, it does feel like an afterthought. It's just somewhere for the characters to hang out. I mean, do you even see Goodman bowl?
No, I think it's only Donnie you see bowl.
Yeah.
Donnie and Jesus. I get the feeling that Sam Elliott isn't at the bowling alley to bowl.
Yeah, he wants that fine sarsaparilla, man.
Yeah, and some nuts. That's it. That's all he wants. But I mean, I'm sure there's kind of an intimation that he's some sort of god figure.
Well, no, that's another recurring thing in their work. Like the narrator, that just swans in there and just appears out of nowhere. Like in the Fargo TV series, there's another character just like that happens to sit at a bar and give the characters advice. And sort of spur them on. It's a recurring thing, man. It's interesting.
It is, but I think that is a representation of God.
Yeah.
Because he seems all-knowing.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I love it. It is one of my favourite films of all time. I thought it was terrible how we were kind of tricked into thinking there was some sort of sequel being made. Only couple of years ago.
Yeah. Because that's what everyone instantly thought when they saw the little teaser for it.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this could be amazing. And again, if it's the Coen brothers, this could be really clever.
I think they do that on purpose because it's happened a few times. Do you remember, not that I'm a fan of the bloke, but do you remember they did something with Matthew Broderick as Ferris Bueller? They tried to make out that like a Ferris Bueller sequel was coming. But yes, it's happened more than once.
I think it's terrible. What I immediately thought is we've had Bush the First, which is this aggression will not stand, man. You know, and then I thought, well, if they're going to do a sequel, they've got to base it within the timeline of the second evil Bush, George W. And they've got so many quotes that they could take, and they could really place the dude in the time of the second Gulf War, because the Gulf War was kind of a background to the Big Lebowski, so there's commentary there. So I thought, this is going to be really clever. They're going to do it again, where it's, you know, it's like set then.
If there was a spin-off or a sequel, what would you want to see the dude doing? What has the dude been doing since 1998?
I know exactly what he's been doing.
Okay.
The same thing.
But
what do you think the dude would suddenly start doing?
No, I mean, less what he's doing. What kind of situation would he be in?
Right, I think by now, definitely Walter would have died of high blood pressure. The dude wouldn't move out of LA. He wouldn't move out of his house. He'd still have the same rug. He'd still listen to the same bowling tapes. He wouldn't have even moved on to CDs. So the dude would still be in LA. He'd probably grow his own cannabis. By now, he's probably got a dispensary only because he probably grows it himself and he's got too much that he knows what to do with.
You've just hit on a great fucking idea there. The dude running a dispensary.
Yeah.
No, and like, that's how he gets into the crime aspect because, you know, running that kind of business brings in shady characters.
Absolutely.
Oh, no, I want to fucking see it.
So I imagine he's still in LA, still smoking, still happy as anything. But he's got to deal with this. Well, fucking LA in 2023 is a slightly different place to 19. I mean, when was it set? 1992 was it set?
Yeah,
91.
It's set in the early 90s.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's a slightly different atmosphere, slightly different vibe.
Joel, Ethan,
make it, dude.
Please make the bigger Lebowski. Because now he's got some serious money behind him. Yeah. That's what you call it, man. The bigger Lebowski.
The bigger Lebowski.
Yeah.
Because he'd make more money than the faker.
yeah.
Although he died, didn't he? Like the actor that played him. But check out Santa Claus. He's in that as well. But yeah, no, I love the film, and we need a sequel. It isn't the sequel we want, but it's the one we need.
Oh yeah.
Because I think the dude, and we'll probably end on this. The dude is probably the nearest thing to a modern Jesus that we've got on film.
Hey, look, he's got his own cult behind him.
Damn right, and I am an ordained minister. As you can see, I've worn my robes for you, Dave.
Yep.
I dug it out. I've got my Vitruvian. I don't know whether your camera gets that.
Oh, yeah, just about.
Vitruvian dude.
Maybe it looks a little like Silent Bob on that camera, but...
Fuck
yes.
off.
Yep.
No Kevin Smith shit here, thank you very much. How's that look?
Yeah, get it.
Lit that. So, yeah. Coen brothers, please do the right thing. We need the dude more than ever.